So here we are at Mabry, major intersection here. Used to have red light cameras at this interchange, and they're just controversial, and looks like they've taken them all down. Yeah, I think there's a debate on whether they cause accidents or prevent accidents, because a lot of people coming through this area, they're debating, like, are they going to go through a light that's yellow? Because if you go through that light and it turns red at the last second, guess what? You get a ticket in the mail. I know from experience. But now, you know, of course you gotta be safe, but you don't have to stress as much. If it looks like you can get through on a yellow, just go for it. So this corner used to have an Albertsons when they were still in Florida. I think they've completely left this area. But it used to have an Albertsons over here to the right, but now it is a pretty large church called City Life. This area, even though it's really Egypt Lake, still gets some businesses trying to associate it with Carrollwood, which is actually just north of us over the railroad tracks. For example, there's a hospital to the south, on the left, and it's called you know, Advent Health Carrollwood. Still hanging on to that Carrollwood name. And there's a few newer chain businesses here, and banks. You have Wawa, of course. And there's a Walmart to the south of us, like a block south. Actually, it was one of the prototype smaller footprint supercenters. And yeah, I think it's one of the first they built. And here you can see the road widens into a 6-lane road, 3 lanes each way. And you still have a lot of those kind of ugly strip centers on the right and the left. Yeah, some better landscaping would help, I think. And maybe some new paint. Again, you have some variety of ethnic businesses, like you have a Brazil grocery store over there on the right. Here we are at Manhattan Avenue. A lot of the roads in Tampa are cut off from being continuous. Not sure exactly why in all cases, but in the case of Manhattan, it gets blocked by the airport partially. But it does pick up in South Tampa as one of the main roads down there. So here we are cutting through a conservation area, and then just behind and, you know, just past it is this corporate center. And on the left and to the right you have apartments. And here we cross a spur of the railroad tracks that go from from east to west. And past here, it starts to become more industrial with distribution centers and office parks. To the left, it actually used to be, I believe, a clothing company called Perry Ellis. And it was taken over by some other company, and they shut it down. And just after they built this tall building here to the left, they shut it down, and that became a university. You have some other warehouses. This one to the left became a campus of Grace Family Church. But there's a lot of other distribution warehouses and manufacturing. Like you have a FedEx site over here, storage facilities, and the Sweetwater Business Center. The Sweetwater, it's named after the Sweetwater Creek, which actually starts up near Lutz and flows all the way down through here to the bay. And it definitely had some high waters rushing through there during the last storm that we had. More office park stuff. So up ahead is the Veterans Expressway. Originally it was built to go from the airport area all the way to 275 and 75, but unfortunately it only made it to Del Mabry because the Lutz residents blocked it. But it does continue up as Toll Road 589 up to Citrus County now. Off to the right is a Chick-fil-A, which really does a great job with the Christmas holiday season. That whole area is just lit up. It's like an attraction. So past the Veterans Expressway, we enter into Town and Country. And this area started, I think, back in the 50s. It was originally developed back then. Before it was developed into housing, it was mainly a dairy farm, I believe, cow pastures and that kind of thing. It's kind of low-lying, so it is mostly in evacuation zones, right off the bay. So it's one of the first areas that needs to evacuate. I think it's in B or C. And it also is a heavily concentrated area for the Latino residents in the area. And that started, I think, in probably the 70s. Started having a lot of Hispanic residents moving in. So you have a lot of Spanish restaurants. This is Hanley. This is well known for the Hispanic community in this area. I'd say this area is probably upper low to low middle income. It's pretty decent. There's some nicer establishments here and some that are pretty basic. Still a lot of mom and pop businesses in this area. Quite a variety. And then you'll have some newer businesses pop up, which, you know, helps keep things interesting. To the right, there's a very large manufacturer home area, several neighborhoods, several developments. You can see them over there. But these manufactured homes, although they're not ideal, I don't think, for an urban environment or suburban environment, it's pretty nice. I mean, they have a nice wall that kind of cordons off the development, and then you can see over there a mix, or over here there's houses, but back there you can see pretty nice manufactured homes. So here we cross another creek that flows out into Tampa Bay. It's called Rocky Creek. And right here is Sheldon Road, which is becoming more and more a major north-south route on the west side of town. So crossing Sheldon, we're getting into an area called Countryway, and things are getting nicer and nicer as we go. So the upper Tampa Bay Trail is in this area. We're crossing it, and it goes quite far on the west side of town. It eventually will connect the Tampa Bay area. Actually, it's Old Tampa Bay. It'll connect down near Old Tampa Bay all the way up to the Suncoast Trail alongside the Suncoast Parkway. So it'll be continuous. So that'll be quite a bicycle ride or walking trail. So we're up here at Montague Street. And to the left, Montague goes past Alonzo High School, which I think was built about 10 years ago. And it kind of makes its way down to Hillsborough Avenue, which is also a major east-west road. It's 6 lanes and goes from one side of the county to the other. And as we go forward here, we're definitely getting into the Countryway development. Just a block or so. And Countryway was developed, I believe, in the 90s. And it is definitely a middle class, upper middle class even type of a community. Really, I don't like to say class. I like to say mid to upper income, because it's not. It's just what people earn. Thankfully, in America, you know, you can move up and down. Hopefully, up the income level. You're not stuck in a particular income level, which is different than a lot of other places, unfortunately. But this area is for people who are currently or moving up into the mid to upper income levels. And it's the same developer that built Westchase, and Westchase is very well known, I think, even outside of the Tampa Bay area, for being mid to upper income type of an area. So we are still on Waters Avenue, same corridor that goes through some kind of not great looking areas into this area, which is very nice. And so here we are at Countryway Boulevard, which to the left goes to Hillsborough, to the right goes to Westchase. And it ends right there, just ahead. All right.